The massive space station Concordia hung against the backdrop of stars like a jewel. Inside, 23 alien representatives sat around a large circular table. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been called with only 6 hours' notice. Counselor Exceltheris, a tall lizard-like being with scales that shimmered green and gold, stood at the center. His clawed hand gestured at the holographic display. "My fellow council members, I bring disturbing news," he said. "The humans have developed faster than light travel 40 years ahead of our projections." Murmurs spread around the table. The hologram showed Earth ships moving between stars. They have established 12 colonies in just 30 years. Seltheris continued. Their military grows stronger each day. Their pattern of development does not match any species we have encountered before. Counselor Zara, a being of pure energy contained in a special suit, spoke next. "What exactly makes humans so dangerous? Many young species expand quickly." Seltheris tapped his control pad. New images appeared showing human weapons tests, space battles with pirates, and mining operations. Humans adapt too quickly. They solve problems in ways our scientists cannot predict, and they are aggressive when threatened. He paused. Most concerning is their unity in crisis. When attacked, they do not surrender. They fight harder. Far from Concordia, the human exploration vessel U.S. Dauntless moved through uncharted space. On the bridge, Admiral Kate Summers checked the ship's course on her display. "Lieutenant Barker, how long until we reach the anomaly?" she asked. John Barker looked up from his station. "About 6 hours, Admiral. The energy signature is unlike anything we've seen before." Kate nodded. "Keep us at alert status. We don't know what's out there." Neither of them knew they were heading straight toward Concordia and the council that was deciding their species' fate. Back in the council chamber, debate had grown heated. "We must contain them now, before they discover the wider galaxy," said Counselor Drex, his 4 eyes blinking nervously. "Their technology is advancing too rapidly." Counselor Pelennor, whose aquatic species needed a water-filled environment suit, raised a webbed hand. "I disagree. Our studies show humans value freedom above all else. Any attempt to control them would be met with resistance." "Then we do it secretly," Seltheris replied. "Technology restrictions, territory limitations, perhaps even population control measures. They need not know." The council chairman, Walter, called for order. His ancient face showed concern. "We will vote on Containment Protocol 7A. Those in favor of restricting human expansion and technology, raise your hands." One by one, hands, tentacles, and appendages rose. 17 members voted for containment. 6 voted against. "The motion carries," Valtar announced. "We will begin implementing measures immediately. The humans must not expand beyond their current territories until we deem them ready." On the Dauntless, Communications Officer Lisa Chen frowned at her screen. "Admiral, I'm picking up unusual transmissions. Very complex encryption." Security Chief Alan Rodriguez joined her at the console. "That's not natural background radiation. Someone's talking out there." Kate moved to the main viewport. "John, adjust our course toward that transmission source. Full sensor sweep." "Yes, Admiral," John replied, his fingers flying over the controls. "Something big is out there. Really big." Back on Concordia, an alarm sounded, interrupting the council's planning. A junior aide rushed into the chamber. "Chairman Walter, our sensors have detected an unidentified vessel approaching the station," the aide reported, voice shaking. "What species?" Walter demanded. The aide swallowed hard. "Human, sir. It's a human ship." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Counselor Exceltheris dropped his datapad in shock. "Impossible. They shouldn't have found us. They can't have developed sensors that advanced," he hissed. Chairman Walter raised his hands for silence. "This changes everything. The humans are here, at our doorstep, just moments after we voted to control them." He looked around the room at the stunned faces. Prepare for first contact, and may the stars help us all. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Kate Summers stared in amazement at the massive space station that had just appeared on their view screen. It was like nothing humans had ever built. "Well," she said softly, "I think we found something interesting." The council chambers transformed in minutes. Staff rushed to hide documents about the containment vote. Guards took positions at every door. Chairman Velter smoothed his ceremonial robes and tried to look calm. "Remember, we must appear welcoming," he told the council members. "The humans cannot know what we just voted on." Councillor Zora floated closer to Velter. "This is unprecedented. No species has ever found Concordia without being invited, which is exactly why we voted as we did," Zell Ferris hissed quietly. "They are unpredictable and dangerous." Aboard the Dauntless, Admiral Kate Summers called her senior officers to the conference room. "We're about to make first contact with what appears to be a multi-species organization," she said, looking at each face around the table. "This could change everything for humanity." John Barker studied the sensor readings. "The station is massive, Admiral. At least 20 different life form readings. Technology beyond anything we've seen. Why haven't they contacted us yet?" Lisa Chen asked. "They must see us." Alan Rodriguez checked his sidearm discreetly. "They see us. They're watching every move we make. I don't like that they're silent." Kate nodded. "We'll proceed with caution. Standard diplomatic protocols." "Lisa, John, Alan, you're with me on the first shuttle. The rest of you, keep the ship at ready status." On Concordia, the council hurriedly prepared a reception area. The central docking bay was cleared of all restricted technology. Staff members who knew about the containment vote were ordered to stay away. "The human vessel is requesting docking permission," an aide reported. Chairman Velter took a deep breath. "Granted, and inform them I will personally greet them." Councillor Xeltheris pulled Valtar aside. "Be careful what you say. These humans might be more perceptive than we realize." The human shuttle docked smoothly at Concordia. Kate led her small team through the airlock. They wore their dress uniforms, impressive but not overtly military. Alan insisted they all carry personal communicators with emergency beacons. The doors opened to reveal a huge chamber filled with different alien species. At the front stood a tall, regal figure with pale blue skin. "Welcome to Concordia," Chairman Valter said, bowing slightly. "I am Valtar, Chairman of the Galactic Council. We are surprised by your arrival." Kate stepped forward. "Admiral Kate Summers of Earth. We're an exploration vessel charting this region of space. We detected your station's energy signature and came to investigate." "Fascinating," Valter said with a forced smile. "You've achieved much more than... we are pleased to welcome a new species to galactic society." John noticed several aliens whispering urgently to each other. One lizard-like creature seemed especially agitated. Lisa's translator picked up fragments. "Should not be possible," and "containment already compromised." Alan watched the guards. They looked too ready for trouble. Valtar led them on a tour of public areas. "The Council has existed for 12,000 years. 23 species currently hold seats. We promote peace and cooperation throughout the galaxy. And yet we've never heard of you," Kate said, "despite having faster-than-light travel for decades." Valter's smile tightened. "The galaxy is vast. We find species when they are ready." They entered a large meeting room where refreshments waited. The lizard-like counselor was working at a data terminal. When he saw the humans, he quickly closed it, but not before Lisa caught a glimpse of text mentioning Containment Protocol 7A. "You'll be our guests tonight," Valtar announced. "Tomorrow we can begin formal diplomatic discussions." That night in their quarters, Alan checked for listening devices. "Found 3 so far," he whispered. "I don't trust them," Kate said quietly. "They're hiding something." "John, what did you notice?" "Their technology is mixed," John replied. Some areas look incredibly advanced, but others seem deliberately primitive, like they're hiding their true capabilities. Lisa leaned in. I saw something on a screen. Something about containment and protocols. Alan finished his sweep. I'm going to access their computer system. If they're planning something against Earth, we need to know. Hours later, Alan woke Kate. His face was grim. Admiral, you need to see this, he said, showing her his datapad. I found partial records of a vote they held right before we arrived. They're planning to contain humanity, restrict our growth and technology. Kate's eyes hardened. So the friendly welcome is a lie. Send an encrypted message to the Dauntless. Tell them to prepare for any scenario. She looked out the viewport at the massive stations surrounding them. Tomorrow, we'll see just how diplomatic the Council really is. Morning came to Concordia with artificial light brightening the station's corridors. Kate and her team met privately before their scheduled meeting with the Council. Everyone clear on the plan? Kate asked. We play along. Act like we don't know about their containment vote. Lisa, keep your translator running at all times. John, make note of any technology you see. Alan, stay alert for security threats. They entered the Grand Council chamber, where all 23 alien representatives waited. The circular room had viewing galleries above where staff members watched with curious eyes. Chairman Walter greeted them warmly. Admiral Summers, we are prepared to begin cultural exchange. The Council is eager to learn about Earth. Kate smiled politely. We're happy to share. Earth has a rich history of peaceful exploration. We currently have colonies on 12 planets and peaceful relations with all neighboring systems we've encountered. She noticed several Council members shift uncomfortably at the mention of 12 colonies. The number seemed to surprise them. Perhaps we could also learn about the Council's history, Kate suggested. How you govern, how member species join. Councillor Excel Theris spoke up quickly. That information comes later in the process. First, tell us about human military capabilities. Our ships are primarily for exploration, Kate replied carefully, though we maintain defensive capabilities. Meanwhile, aboard the Dauntless, Communications Officer Peter Lawson received Kate's encrypted message. He immediately took it to Acting Captain Sam Martinez. Sir, Admiral Summers believes the Council is hostile, Peter reported. She's ordered us to send an encrypted message back to Earth with all our data on this station. Sam nodded grimly. Do it immediately. Use the quantum channel. Then prepare the ship for emergency extraction if needed. Back in the Council chamber, an insectoid alien approached John during a break. He introduced himself as Counselor Rennick. Humans are fascinating, Rennick said, his mandibles clicking softly. I would like to learn more about your technology development process. John shared basic information while noticing Rennick's unusual interest in Earth's defense systems. We believe in open research partnerships, John said, unlike some who might hide their true capabilities. Rennick's antennae twitched nervously. In another part of the chamber, Lisa chatted with various alien representatives. Her enhanced translator picked up a conversation between two aides. The containment protocols are already being prepared, one whispered. Earth will never know what happened. Some council members oppose this deception. The other replied. Ambassador Pel Anor has called it a violation of founding principles. Lisa maintained her smile while carefully memorizing the name Pellinor. Alan positioned himself near a security console. When guards changed shifts, he quickly accessed it, downloading station maps. He noted the location of weapons systems and shield generators. That evening, the human delegation was invited to a formal dinner. Exotic foods from 20 worlds filled the tables. Music played from unseen sources. It appeared celebratory, but Kate felt the tension underneath. Tomorrow, we will present a friendship treaty, Chairman Valtar announced. The beginning of formal relations between Earth and the Galactic Council. After returning to their quarters, Alan swept for new listening devices. They added 4 more, he reported. Let's give them something to hear, Kate said loudly. The Council has been so welcoming. Earth will be excited to join galactic society. When the room was secure, they gathered in the washroom with water running to mass conversation. The treaty will contain the restrictions, Kate whispered. They'll disguise it as standard procedure. I've identified a potential ally, Lisa said. Someone named Pelennor who opposes the containment. I've mapped escape routes, Alan added, and ways to disable their systems if needed. John showed them his datapad. I believe their ships use a different FTL method than ours. It might explain why they're surprised by our capabilities. A soft chime interrupted them. Someone was requesting entry to their quarters. Alan checked the security feed. Outside stood an alien in a water-filled environment suit. The being had webbed hands and large eyes. Ambassador Pelennor, the visitor announced quietly. I must speak with you about the Council's true intentions. Kate nodded to Alan. Let them in, but be ready for anything. As the door slid open, Kate wondered if they had found their first real ally in this alien government that had already voted to control humanity's future. Back on Earth, Fleet Admiral Gregory Powell received the Dauntless's urgent message. He read it twice, then pressed the emergency alert button. Ambassador Pelennor entered the human quarters, water bubbling in his environment suit. His large eyes blinked slowly as Alan checked him for weapons. I apologize for the secrecy, Pelennor said, his voice translated through a device on his suit. 6 council members voted against the containment of humanity. I was one of them. Kate studied the aquatic alien carefully. Why are you telling us this? Because the vote violated our founding principles, Pelennor replied. The council was created to welcome species, not control them. Some of us believe humans deserve the truth. John crossed his arms. How do we know this isn't a trick to gain our trust? Pelennor reached into his suit and removed a data crystal. This contains the full council records on Earth. They have been watching your planet for centuries. On the main council level, Councillor Seltheris paced nervously. His scales had darkened with stress. The humans know something, he told Chairman Walter. Did you see how the Admiral answered my questions? Too precise. Too careful. Walter sighed. We must proceed with the treaty. The containment clauses are well hidden in legal language. And if they refuse to sign? Zeltheris asked. Then we activate the backup plan, Walter said quietly. But let us hope it doesn't come to that. In the human quarters, Kate and her team reviewed the data from Pelennor. This is incredible, John said, examining star charts. According to this, the Council has been monitoring Earth since ancient times. Lisa pointed to another file. Look at this. They've been analyzing our languages, cultures, even our genetics. Alan's face darkened as he opened a military assessment. They've cataloged all our weapons, defenses, and potential weaknesses. This is full invasion planning. Kate turned to Pelennor. Why does the Council fear us so much? Your species develops too quickly, Pelennor explained. Most races take centuries to advance from steam power to space travel. You did it in decades. The Council fears what you might become. A message from the Dauntless interrupted them. Sam Martinez's voice came through Kate's communicator. Admiral, we're detecting multiple Council ships changing position around the station. They appear to be forming a blockade. Kate looked at Pelennor. Is this part of the containment plan? The aquatic alien's eyes widened. It's too soon. The treaty hasn't even been presented yet. The next morning, the human delegation entered the council chamber with new understanding. Kate noticed how Xeltheris watched her with suspicious eyes. Chairman Valtar presented a thick document, the friendship treaty between Earth and the Galactic Council, a historic moment. Kate took the document but didn't open it. Before we discuss treaties, I have questions about the Council's true intentions. Valter blinked in surprise. I don't understand. Then let me be clear, Kate said, her voice carrying through the chamber. Why did the Council vote to contain humanity just before we arrived? The room fell silent. Counselors looked at each other in shock. HFY stepped forward, scales flaring. How dare you spy on council proceedings? This proves humans cannot be trusted. We didn't spy, Kate replied calmly. Your own council members told us the truth. Walter raised his hands for quiet. Admiral Summers, please understand. The containment is temporary. Until humans prove themselves worthy of full membership. By whose standards? Kate asked. And who gave you the right to judge us? Before Walter could answer, an aide rushed into the chamber. Chairman, multiple ships have entered the system. They appear to be human vessels. On the main viewer, a fleet of Earth ships appeared. Leading them was the massive diplomatic vessel ESS Unity. Earth's diplomatic delegation has arrived, Kate said with a small smile. And they seem to have brought an escort. HFY hissed in alarm. Impossible. We detected no faster-than-light communications from your ship. John Barker couldn't help smiling. Perhaps your understanding of human technology is incomplete. The council erupted in arguments as the human ships approached. Some demanded immediate military response. Others called for calm. Walter looked at Kate with new respect and worry. It seems we have much to discuss, Admiral, and much to reconsider. In his private chamber, Counselor HFY activated a secure communication channel. Initiate contingency protocols, he ordered. The humans are more dangerous than we thought. The Earth diplomatic vessel ESS Unity docked at Concordia amid tense silence. Council security forces lined the corridors, weapons visible but not raised. Kate and her team waited at the airlock to greet Earth's representatives. The doors opened to reveal Ambassador Samantha Ellis, a tall woman with silver hair and sharp eyes. She was followed by a small team of diplomats and scientists. Admiral Summers, Samantha said with a nod. I see you found something interesting. Just a small galactic government that's been watching us for centuries, Kate replied. And they recently voted to control humanity's development. Samantha smiled thinly. How inconvenient for them that we arrived during their vote. In the Grand Council chamber, Chairman Walter called an emergency session. The arrival of a human diplomatic fleet had thrown the council into chaos. How did they organize a diplomatic mission so quickly? Counselor Zora asked, her energy form flickering with agitation. We detected no communication from the Dauntless. Unknown, HFY replied. But their fleet carries weapons that our sensors cannot fully analyze. Ambassador Ellis entered the chamber with confident steps. She bowed slightly to Chairman Walter. Greetings from Earth, she said. We are pleased to establish formal relations with the Galactic Council. Walter tried to hide his surprise. We welcome Earth's representatives, though we are curious how you arrived so promptly. We received Admiral Summers' message through our quantum communication network, Samantha explained. Earth has been developing this technology for some time. Several counselors exchanged worried glances. Quantum communication of that level was beyond most council races. In a science lab on the lower levels, John Barker worked with a council technician named Mira. They were testing how human technology interacted with alien systems. This is strange, Mira said, her four-fingered hands adjusting controls. Your navigation computers use a completely different approach to quantum calculations. John nodded. Earth scientists found that simpler systems sometimes work better for certain problems. We call it elegant efficiency. Mira looked troubled. But our most advanced computers should be superior in all ways. Different doesn't mean better or worse, John explained. Just different paths to the same destination. Meanwhile, Lisa Chen had joined a cultural exchange session. Several council linguists were shocked by how quickly she learned their languages. You've mastered basic Cyrillian in hours, one linguist said. Most species take weeks. Lisa shrugged. Humans have thousands of languages on Earth. We're used to learning new communication systems. In the security center, Alan Rodriguez demonstrated human combat techniques to curious alien guards. He moved with quick, efficient strikes that impressed even the warrior species. Your physical abilities are not superior, said a massive guard with rock-like skin. "Yet your fighting style is remarkably effective." Alan smiled. "Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We've had plenty of practice." The Council's scientific division was having an emergency meeting. Chief Researcher Dillon presented his findings with growing alarm. "The humans have developed unique approaches to quantum physics that our scientists never considered," he reported. "Their methods are unorthodox but effective." Counselor Rennick clicked his mandibles nervously. "Are they more advanced than us?" "Not exactly," Dillon replied. "But they solve problems differently. This unpredictability makes them potentially more dangerous than we thought." In Chairman Valter's private office, he met with Ambassador Ellis. The human's knowledge of council politics surprised him. "You seem well informed about our internal structures," Valter observed. Samantha smiled. "Earth has always valued good intelligence, and we've had decades to study the transmissions coming from this region of space." "You intercepted our communications?" Valter asked, alarmed. "Some," Samantha admitted, "though we didn't know their source until now. Perhaps if the Council had approached us openly, instead of watching from shadows, we would be having a different conversation." Aboard the Dauntless, Kate received an urgent message from Alan. She read it quickly, then called John and Lisa to her quarters. "Alan has discovered something in the Council's security network," she reported. "Exeltheris has activated what they call the predecessor protocol. They're mobilizing hidden weapons platforms throughout the station." "Why now?" John asked. "Ambassador Ellis is making progress with Valter." "Because some council members are realizing humans might be more advanced than they thought," Kate replied. "And fear makes people do desperate things." Lisa looked worried. "We should warn Ambassador Ellis." "Already done," Kate said. "But we need to be ready. The Council voted to control humanity once already. Some of them might prefer to eliminate us rather than accept us as equals." Alarms blared throughout Concordia. Red lights flashed in the corridors as security teams rushed to their posts. The 6 council members who had voted against containing humanity gathered in a secure room. "Exeltheris has gone too far," Ambassador Pel Anor said, water bubbling in his suit. "Activating weapons against official diplomatic visitors violates our most sacred laws." Councillor Zara's energy form pulsed with anger. "We must stop this. The predecessor protocol was never meant to be used this way." In another part of the station, Exeltheris addressed his supporters. "The humans must be contained now before it's too late. Their technology, their adaptability, they are too dangerous." "But armed conflict?" one councillor asked nervously. "Is that necessary?" "Not conflict," Exeltheris clarified. "Just a show of force to make them accept our terms. The weapons are for leverage." Meanwhile, John Barker worked frantically in the science lab. He had connected his data pad to the station's computer system and discovered something shocking. "Admiral," he called Kate on his communicator, "I found ancient records about something called the predecessors. According to this data, they were the founders of the Council, but disappeared thousands of years ago." "What does this have to do with us?" Kate asked. "The genetic profiles," John replied, excitement in his voice. "Human DNA contains markers identical to predecessor DNA. We might be their descendants." Kate's eyes widened. "Get that data to Ambassador Ellis immediately." In the council chamber, Samantha Ellis faced Chairman Valter and the assembled councillors. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. "We have detected your weapons powering up," she said calmly. "Earth considers this an aggressive act." Chairman Valter looked uncomfortable. "This is a misunderstanding. Standard security protocols only." "Chairman, with respect, you're lying," Samantha replied. "We know about the predecessor protocol. We know Councillor Exeltheris activated it without full council approval." Before Valter could respond, doors slid open and Ambassador Pel Anor entered with 5 other councillors. "Chairman Valter," Pel Anor announced formally, "we invoke Article 7 of the Council Charter. Counselor Theris has violated our laws by preparing military action without a proper vote. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Security guards looked at each other in confusion, unsure whose orders to follow. Lisa Chen stood with a group of council linguists, analyzing ancient texts. Her eyes suddenly widened as connections formed in her mind. The oldest council language, she said, pointing to symbols on a screen. Its root structure matches early Earth languages. The similarities are too great for coincidence. The chief linguist stared at her work in shock. If you're right, this changes everything we know about council history. Across the station, Alan Rodriguez noticed security systems being redirected. He immediately contacted Kate. "Admiral, someone's trying to lock down the docking base. They could trap our ships here." "Override it," Kate ordered. "Use the access codes Ambassador Pellinor provided." Alan's fingers flew over the controls. "Working on it." In a private meeting room, Theris confronted Chairman Valter. "You're too weak to do what's necessary," he hissed. "The prediction algorithms are clear. If humans join the Council as equals, they will dominate within a century." "Algorithms can be wrong," Valter replied. "And we have new information. The human genetic connection to the predecessors." "Lies," Theris shouted. "They're manipulating you." The door slid open, and Counselor Zara floated in. "It's not a lie, Theris. Our scientists have confirmed it. Humans carry predecessor genetic markers." Theris stepped back in shock. "Impossible." On the Dauntless, Science Officer Ryan Mills studied the data John had sent. "This is amazing," he told the bridge crew. "If humans are descended from these predecessors, we might have inherited their advanced capabilities." Sam Martinez nodded. "That would explain why the Council fears us. We're the return of their founders." Ambassador Ellis met with Kate, John, Lisa, and Alan in a secure room. "The Council is fracturing," she reported. 7 species have officially withdrawn from the containment agreement. They're calling for a new vote. John shared his discovery about the predecessor connection. "This could be why humans develop technology differently. We're following paths encoded in our DNA." A loud explosion rocked the station. Alarms shrieked even louder. "What was that?" Lisa asked. Alan checked his security feed. "Weapons fire in the central hub. Theris's security forces are trying to take control of the station." Kate stood, her face resolute. "This has gone far enough. Contact all Earth ships. Tell them to move to defensive positions, but do not fire unless fired upon." Ambassador Ellis nodded in agreement. "I'll contact the Council members who support us. It's time to show them that humans are not the aggressive species Theris claims we are." Chaos spread through Concordia Station. Security forces loyal to Theris clashed with those following Chairman Valter's orders. Civilians from various species rushed to safety zones. In the command center, Kate joined forces with Ambassador Ellis and Chairman Valter. Screens showed fighting in multiple sections of the station. "Theris has seized the weapons control room," Valter said, his voice tired. "He's threatening to fire on your ships if humans don't accept containment." "That would start a war," Kate replied. "Is that what he wants?" Valter shook his head. "He believes it's the only way to save the galaxy from human domination. The prediction algorithm has guided Council decisions for thousands of years." "Show me this algorithm," Ambassador Ellis demanded. On the Dauntless, John had returned to coordinate with Science Officer Ryan Mills. They analyzed the predecessor data together. "The genetic markers are unmistakable," Ryan said. "Humans are definitely related to the predecessors. But there's more." He pointed to a data sequence. "This suggests deliberate genetic engineering. The predecessors modified early humans. Why would they do that?" John wondered. "Maybe they were dying out," Ryan suggested. "Maybe they wanted successors." Throughout the station, Lisa worked with Council linguists to broadcast messages in all languages, trying to stop the violence. She heard weapons fire nearby and ducked behind a console. A group of Seltharis' security forces rounded the corner. They aimed weapons at the linguists. "Stay where you are. This section is now under Counselor Seltharis' control." Before anyone could react, Alan appeared from a side corridor. He moved with incredible speed, disarming 2 guards before they could fire. The other guards turned toward him, but Lissa used the distraction to activate the emergency containment field. Energy walls sprang up, trapping the remaining guards. "Nice timing," Lisa told Alan with a relieved smile. "Security systems on this station are impressive but predictable," Alan replied. "Like their designers." In a secure conference room, Ambassador Ellis examined the prediction algorithm with Counselor Zara and other scientists. Her face grew increasingly puzzled. "This algorithm has a fundamental flaw," she said finally. "It assumes all species develop along the same technological path. It can't account for unique approaches like those humans have taken." Zara's energy form dimmed slightly. "Are you saying it's wrong?" "I'm saying it's biased," Ellis explained. "It sees human unpredictability as a threat rather than an asset." Meanwhile, Seltharis prepared to fire on the human fleet. His scales were dark with stress as he worked the weapons controls. "This is the only way," he told his followers. "The algorithm has never been wrong. Humans will destroy the galactic order if we don't stop them now." A voice came from behind him. "The algorithm was created by the predecessors." Seltharis turned to see Ambassador Pellinor standing in the doorway, flanked by Kate and several council security officers. "The very species you fear has returned," Pellinor continued. "Humans carry predecessor DNA. They are what our founders became." Seltharis' eyes widened. "Lies. The predecessors were wise and peaceful. Humans are aggressive and unpredictable." "The predecessors were both," Kate said calmly. "Just like humans, we can create art and music that moves your people to tears. We can solve scientific problems your experts thought impossible. And yes, we can fight when threatened." She stepped forward, unarmed. "But right now, despite your weapons being aimed at our ships, we're choosing peace. What does your algorithm predict about that?" Doubt flickered across Seltharis' face. His hand hovered over the firing control. In the council chamber, John presented the predecessor evidence to all assembled council members. The genetic data, the linguistic connections, the technological parallels, all pointed to one conclusion. "Humans didn't just evolve from primitive ancestors," he explained. "We were guided, modified, prepared. The predecessors wanted us to eventually join you." An elderly counselor stood slowly. "I have served for 200 years. There is an ancient prophecy that the predecessors would return when the council lost its way. Perhaps this is what it meant." As he spoke, the station shook violently. Warning alarms blared. "What's happening?" Ambassador Ellis demanded. A technician checked the sensors. "Multiple unknown ships have just appeared at the edge of the system. They match no known design." On the main viewer, strange vessels with organic-looking hulls moved toward Concordia. They were unlike anything the Council or humans had ever seen. Chairman Valtar looked pale. "The Harvesters. They come every few thousand years to raid our worlds. The last time, the predecessors fought them off. But since they vanished." John looked at the readings, then at the frightened council members. "Well," he said quietly, "now we know why the predecessors modified humans. They were preparing defenders." Kate's voice came through the communication system. "All Earth ships, move to defensive formation. This is why we train. This is why we exist." The Harvester ships moved closer to Concordia. Their organic-looking hulls absorbed scanner beams, making them difficult to analyze. Council members watched in growing fear as memories of past attacks filled their minds. "Our defensive systems are not designed for Harvester technology," Chairman Valter said, his voice shaking. "The last time they came, we lost 3 worlds before driving them back." Kate stood at the command center, studying the approaching ships. "How many vessels in their fleet?" 27, a technician answered. more than ever before. In the weapons control room, Galactic stared at the harvester ships. His hand moved away from the firing control aimed at the human fleet. "This is why the algorithm feared humans," he whispered. "Not as enemies, but as disruptors of the pattern. The pattern that made us vulnerable every cycle." Ambassador Pelennor placed a webbed hand on Galactic's shoulder. "It is time to choose, Counselor. Old fears or new allies." Galactic looked at Kate. "Human ships are not designed to fight harvesters. You don't know their weaknesses." "Then tell us," Kate replied simply. Throughout Concordia, fighting stopped as news of the harvesters spread. Council security forces united again under Chairman Valter's command. The emergency brought clarity to the chaos. In the council chamber, Ambassador Ellis addressed the assembled representatives. "Today we face a choice. Stand divided and fall, or stand together and fight." An elderly counselor spoke up. "Human ships are smaller, less advanced. How can they help against harvesters?" John stepped forward confidently. "Human ships are designed differently. We don't follow conventional patterns. That might be exactly what we need right now." Aboard the Dauntless, Sam Martinez received tactical data about harvesters from the council. "They expect us to retreat," he told his crew. "Everyone expects humans to run from superior forces." He smiled grimly. "Let's surprise them." The Earth fleet moved into an unusual formation. Instead of a defensive wall like the council ships, they created a complex, shifting pattern. "What are they doing?" Valter asked, watching the screens. Alan studied the tactical display, something the harvesters won't expect. The first harvester ships fired at Concordia. Energy beams struck the station's shields, making them flicker dangerously. "Shields at 60%, a technician reported. "They're using frequencies that penetrate our defenses." "Of course they are," Lisa said. "They attack every few thousand years. They've adapted to your defenses, but not to ours," Kate added. The Earth fleet accelerated suddenly. Instead of retreating, they charged directly at the harvester ships. Their smaller, faster vessels weaved between the organic hulls, firing precisely at junctions that council data had never identified as weaknesses. "Target their connecting nodes," Kate ordered through the fleet channel. "Those tissue-like areas between hull segments." The council watched in amazement as human ships executed maneuvers their vessels couldn't match. The harvesters, accustomed to fighting predictable council tactics, struggled to respond to the chaotic human attack pattern. "Their ships are breaking formation," Ellen reported, watching the tactical display. They didn't expect this approach. In the science lab, Ryan Mills worked with council scientists to analyze the harvester biology. "Their ships are partially organic," he explained. "They think collectively, like a hive. Disrupt the pattern, disrupt their coordination." 3 harvester ships exploded as Earth weapons found critical weaknesses. The remaining ships began to retreat, their perfect formation shattered. "They're running," Galactic said in disbelief. In all recorded attacks, harvesters never retreated in the first engagement. Kate turned to him. "Because they never faced humans before." 2 days later, the council convened a special session. The chamber was packed with representatives from all species. Chairman Valter stood at the center. "For thousands of years, the Galactic Council has followed the guidance of the predecessor algorithm," he began. "It taught us to fear the unpredictable, to contain the different." He gestured to Kate and the human delegation. "But that fear almost cost us our greatest allies. Today, we formally void the containment vote and offer humanity full membership in the Galactic Council." Applause filled the chamber. Even Galactic joined, his earlier fears replaced by newfound respect. Ambassador Ellis stepped forward. "Earth accepts your offer. Together, we will face whatever comes next." Later, Kate stood at a viewport, watching Earth ships and council vessels patrolling together. John joined her there. "The predecessors knew what they were doing," he said. "They made us different for a reason." "Not just to fight," Kate replied, "but to change things, to see possibilities others miss." and to walk into rooms where we're not expected, John added with a smile. Across the station, council members and humans worked together, sharing knowledge and stories. Where once there had been fear, now there was hope. The council had voted to control humanity, but when humans walked in, they changed the galaxy instead.